Hello, good afternoon and welcome to St Mary's. Last minute change of plan here. We are at St Mary's this afternoon for a big game really between second in the league and ninth in the league. So Southampton are going very well. We thought we'd better have a look at them because we covered Everton and Arsenal a few times so far. So we thought we'd go a little bit different and cover Southampton today. And what a game this really promises to be. Southampton have been going so well under Ralph Hasenhüttl this season, who have performed above and beyond. They take on a Manchester City side this afternoon who have only got 20 points to show from their first 12 games. Liverpool have won 7-0, I believe, in the game at Crystal Palace, so a great win there for Jurgen Klopp's men. So they're got a real stranglehold on the Premier League at the moment, doing really well and going ever so well at the moment, but you never know in this crazy world. Anything can still happen. City languishing down in ninth, as I say. Sure, it's a false position for them, but I was just off air and Harry Redknapp, who is one of the studio guests for television today, mentioned that they've lost key players and it's a gradual rebuilding job. You heard them play West Brom on Tuesday night, which was a live commentary on JB Sports, and they limped to a 1-1 draw in the end in what proved to be Slaven Bilic's last game in charge. We'll also be at West Bromwich Albion tomorrow for Sam Allardyce's first match as they take on Aston Villa in the Midlands derby. That's a game you can hear at 7 o'clock tomorrow night with a 7:15 kickoff on JB Sports. So, and that'll be with me again as we have crowds again here at St Mary's because we're in a Tier 2 area this afternoon. Our match comes in a Tier 2 area, so they're allowing fans in this afternoon, so great to see. Southampton 2020, third most wins, 16 more goals outside the box, 15 in their Premier League this season, 25 goals this season, that's the third best in the Premier League. 5 clean sheets this season, that's a joint most. Joint second most wins, 7, and 240 tackles. That makes them the third best in terms of tackles in the league. Some great statistics there that have just come up on my monitor there that I felt that I ought to read out. Now, also alongside our live coverage today, we've got the comment section open for business, as you can see. English Sports has said hi, and hello back to him as well. And of course, keep your comments clean, keep them respectful, and let's keep them about the game. No questions at all. No unnecessary questions. Let's just keep it to the football. And of course, we'll have half time. We'll have a half-time score in as well, and then also we'll have the full classified results at 5 o'clock. So we're going to be with you until about 5:15 this afternoon. And then tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, 7:15 kickoff, we're going to be live from the Hawthorns, where West Bromwich Albion will take on Aston Villa in a real big game. And that'll be our last live commentary, I can tell you now, before the Christmas break. So we'll be wishing you all a Merry Christmas, no doubt, in the next couple of days. Danny Ings there. 6 goals from 10 already this season. He's had 3 assists on top of that as well. He's had 19 shots this season, and a whopping 13 of those have been on target. Shows how deadly a finisher he really is in terms of finishing ability. Scored the winning goal against Burnley earlier on in the season, and scored a nice goal against Chelsea where he rounded Arisa Balaga. He's got the skills in his locker. We saw this at Burnley a few years ago. He's an absolute deadly striker, and he looks as if he's back in real form and proving what a talented striker he is now in Premier League football terms. It's taken him a while. Went to Liverpool when he left Burnley in 2015 rather, and really didn't hit the heights that really expected of him there. He had injury problems which didn't help his cause and things like that. But last season, on July the 5th, Southampton had a fantastic victory, as you see there, a 40-yard goal from Adams winning it there. So they've got a good record against City, a good recent record. And with 2,000 Southampton supporters behind them today, well, it all could set fair for another tremendous, famous victory potentially for Southampton. But you never know in football. Football's got a way of making a fool of anybody who tries to make a rash prediction, so we'll just have to watch this space. We're about 10 minutes away from kick-off here at the here at St Mary's, but I can tell you that it's finished 7-0 to Liverpool against Crystal Palace. That's a real statement of intent there by Klopp's men. I just want to remind you of something that's been approved since we were last with you in the Premier League. You know, the first time that 9 subs are allowed to sit on the bench in a Premier League match, but the rule of how many players can come on at any one time during a match is the same. 3 can play from 9 substitutes nominated. And that was a Premier League ruling. Jurgen Klopp and one or two of the bigger managers wanted to get the amount of subs that could come on at any one time to 5, but that was rejected in a Premier League meeting during the week, and so that's the situation. So if you're wondering why I'll read out 9 substitutes apiece later on before the kick-off, that's the reason why. Well, let me just run through the 2-11s for you. Southampton make one change. In Jepo comes in. Well, let's give you the full lineup. McCarthy's in goal. Walker, Peters, Bednarek, Vestergaard and Bertrand at the back. Walcott, who scored against Arsenal in the week in that 1-1 draw. James Ward-Prowse, Romeo, in Jepo, Danny Ings and Che Adams. Up front for the Saints this afternoon. So that's the side. Manchester City with their lineup as strong as they can have it at the moment due to injuries and whatever at the moment. They make 4 changes from that calamitous 1-1 draw at home to West Brom on Tuesday night. So it's Edison in goal, Kyle Walker, John Stones, Diaz and Chancellor are the back 4. And it's Gundogan, Rodri and Bernardo Silva in the midfield with De Bruyne, Sterling and Torres leading the line up front. Now, these are the 9 substitutes. I'm going to read these out each. On the Southampton bench, we've got Fraser Forster, the goalkeeper, Stevens, Shane Long, Nathan Redmond, Stuart Armstrong, Soisu, Christian Teller, Diallo and Indulu. That's the Southampton substitutes list. As for Manchester City, Scott Carson, Nathan Ake, Sergio Aguero, Shinchenko, Mendy, Fernandinho, Mahrez, Foden and Mchenta. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's a very strong City bench. And that's the lineup. We're going to take a couple of minutes break and then we'll be back in time for the kick-off, where we'll rerun the teams for you and all the officials as well. We're just going to take a 2-minute break and then we'll full steam ahead with Southampton against Manchester City. Join me in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to St Mary's here on JB Sports, live audio commentary of real life football, and it's Premier League action for us today again. Southampton against Manchester City, our penultimate live commentary before Christmas, and season's greetings to you all, nice and early. We're now in 19th of December, so the big day, just 6 days away, of course, on Christmas Day, and I hope you have a nice but very safe Christmas as well. I don't want to sound like Boris Johnson saying that, but with everything that's going on at the moment, whether you agree with the rules of the government or don't agree with them, please be safe though when you're doing it, while you're having Christmas, but have fun as well. Please have fun. Don't listen to Boris and be like that. As Manchester City are out at the moment, just to remind you a couple of things in your diary. As regards other channels, tomorrow night at 9:15, after we're finished at the Hawthorns, we'll have commentary. We'll join Chris Whiteman and Trevor Walker for commentary of well, not commentary, but Trevor will be commentating on the game. Episode 4 of the Raven West series, where Chris has set up the Raven West Formula 1 team, and are going pretty well, going together some Formula 1 points at the moment under the new 2020 regulations and points and constructors' point scoring. And Trevor Walker will be your man behind the mic, so join them at 9:15 after we're finished at the Hawthorns tomorrow night for our live match, our second live match of the weekend. And then finally on Christmas Day, Trevor will be bringing out a match of the day Christmas special that involves Burnley's trip to Leeds, which he will be covering, and I'll be at the Emirates on the episode covering Arsenal-Chelsea, the massive game there. So that'll be dropping on the 25th, I believe, but it will not be I just want to make it clear to everybody, it's going to be a premiere. Right, the teams are out, so that's that sorted out. The teams are in the tunnel, and well, the teams are out on the pitch. Now let's give you that all-important team news. I'll give you a quick reminder, if you've already listened to it, of the team news. McCarthy in goal for Southampton, Walker-Peters, Bednarik, Yannick Vestergaard and Ryan Bertrand. And then it's Trio Walcott, James Ward-Prowse the captain, Oriol Romeo, Moussa Dini-Jepo, he's the one change from the midweek draw against Arsenal. Danny Ings and Che Adams up front, so essentially it's going to be 4-4-2 with Walcott and Jepo on both left and right flanks, and Ward-Prowse and Romeo the governors in the centre of midfield. Very subtle side that Ralph Hootenhurtle's got together. We'll run through the substitutes for Southampton in just a second. Let me now bring you up to date with the Manchester City lineup, starting with Edison, the goalkeeper, wearing 31. 2 is Kyle Walker. 5 is John Stones. 3 is Ruben Diaz. 27 is Joel Cancelo. 8 is Ilkay Gundogan. 16 Rodri. 20 Bernardo Silva. 17 is Kevin De Bruyne, the captain. Raheem Sterling, number 7. And Ferran Torres wears 21. They're going to play a 4-2-3-1 formation, so I'm just going to try and explain how that's going to be played as soon as they got out of formation. So it's a back four with Walker and Cancelo on both flanks. Gundogan and Rodri the two holding midfielders. De Bruyne will play behind Torres. Sterling on the right, and Bernardo Silva will play on the left, as predicted. Right, let's run through the substitutes. 9 substitutes nominated as from this weekend after the Premier League ruling. 3 can still play, despite Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola's best efforts to get 5 substitutes playing at any one time from the nominated 9, but it's 3 from the nominated 9, and they are Fraser Forster, Stevens, Long, Redmond, Armstrong, Saisu, Teller, Diallo and Ngondu for Southampton. For Manchester City, Scott Carson, Nathan Ake, Sergio Aguero, Zinchenko, Mendy, Fernandinho, Mahrez, Phil Foden and Indecha. The referee today is Mike Dean from the Rebel. His 2 assistants are Ian Usin on the far side, Darren Cann on the near side. Robert Jones is the 4th official. At Stockley Park, our VAR referee is Lee Mason from Greater Manchester, and he's assisted by Adrian Holmes. So we're all set to go. Southampton with the vertical white stripe and on the all red shirts with the vertical stripe down the front of the shirt. Dark shorts and red socks with a white hoop around it will get us underway. City in their change shirts are something like, looks like sort of a peach. It looks white from where we're sitting back in the stand, but it's peach It's sort of a peachy sort of white with dark shorts with peachy white socks. So away we go. Southampton are taking the goal to my left in the first half in front of 2,000 supporters, because Southampton is one of the designated Tier 2 areas which along with Merseyside and Brighton are allowed 2,000 fans at the moment. London, of course, this week has gone into Tier 3. There have been calls I've been reading in the press before we hit before we went on air that there could be a Tier 4 added, and there's fears of a third national lockdown. Let's hope that's not the case. We've had enough stress and depression this last year without starting 2021 in the same fashion. Anyway, let's not think about COVID-19 and any restrictions. Let's think of happy thoughts in the football and have a look and listen along to what could be an exciting game. City down in 9th place for that draw, and a real incentive for Southampton today as the ball comes to Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side there, finds Rodri. I'll come back to what I was going to say about Southampton in a minute, because City are breaking with great authority here. Gundogan to Sterling. Sterling now running at his defenders, and he goes forward, and Sterling goes into there, but he runs out of pitch, and that'll be a goal kick to Southampton. And whilst that's happening, well, I can get back to what I was saying before. Southampton, a great incentive for them today, because if they were to beat Manchester City and repeat what they did in July with that 40-yard stunner from Che Adams, I'm not hoping, hopefully, I doubt that'll be the case, but it'd be lovely if we could repeat that dose. But if Southampton were to repeat the result against Manchester City, they would go second, although they'll have play one more game than Spurs. Spurs play tomorrow, and could see if we go back to second. Liverpool have now moved into 31 points and now are Christmas chart toppers in the Premier League at Christmas. They are the chart toppers. So there's one for the old quiz questions. What does Liverpool FC and Mariah Carey have in common? The answer is they were both top of their respective charts at Christmas 2020. So there you go. Nice little quiz question there for you. There's Edison now just getting it away from Danny Ings there as he kicks the ball clear, but into no man's land, and there he is, Brazilian goalkeeper, into his 4th season at the club, Pep's 5th season, but obviously he had a very good squad that he inherited at first, and then obviously players like Company and David Silva and players of that influence have been and gone now, and it's going to take some rebuilding. They have obviously he's got finances behind him. I mean, the Sheikhs will obviously have money to burn, but he's signed a new contract, and so he knows the task that he's got here. It is a rebuilding job, so it is very difficult to replace players that have been there who go 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and this is going to be a real test of his capabilities as a manager, as Diaz concedes a throw deep inside his own half. You can comment in the comment section, don't be shy, say hello, but keep your comments nice and clean. And of course I'll run you through the championship scores as soon as I get a break in play. So we'll have so what we'll do is open up the championship scores, and because this is the only 3 o'clock Premier League game, just to remind you that Liverpool won 7-0 earlier today against Crystal Palace. We'll give you a rundown of that a little later on in the show. We're on the air till about 5:15 this evening here on The Game. We'll also at 5 o'clock have a full classified check of all today's fixtures around the country, and Russ is with us as well. Hello Russ, thank you for coming in to us. So we'll be checking on championship scores. Early today, Norwich 0-2, Cardiff 0. That was a result. So a big win there for Norwich. As Southampton comes charging forward, and Kyle Walker having to get that ball behind when Dzeko was, I think, about to pull the trigger here. It was a ball played forward to the left-hand side. Danny Ings had taken the position forward, and it came here to Dzeko, hits it with his right foot, or his left foot I should say, and gets a little deflection, and it's a corner to Southampton. We've had 5 minutes of the first half. And James Ward-Prowse, the Southampton captain, will take the corner from the near side. Bednarek, Vestergaard amongst the Southampton players in the penalty box. In fact, those two I've just mentioned are inside the 6-yard area, surrounded by 4 City defenders and the goalkeeper making 5. As Ward-Prowse, that corner didn't look as if that ball didn't look as if it was on the quadrant, but it must have been right on the edge. Perilously close not to being on the quadrant. Injepo has possession on the left hand side, but then loses it, having stumbled in a fair tackle. And here comes number 2, Walker Peters. To both right backs or left backs or whatever you want to call them have the same name. Here's Walcott, and Walcott, this man started his career in his second spell at St Mary's, having started his career some 14 years ago at St Mary's as a young 16-year-old. He did so well there, got a move to Arsenal, did so well there, having not played one single game in the Premier League. He got into Sven-Goran Eriksson's 2006 World Cup and squad, and that just proves how good he was at the time and how his potential wavered at Arsenal. It really was sad to see, because had he stayed at Southampton that little bit longer, obviously they had to sell for financial reasons, but if he'd have gone to a sort of a, not a big Premier League club, but a sort of mid-table Premier League club, I think his career might have flourished very naturally, and then he would have had his big move. But I think he had his big move to Arsenal too much too soon, and too much expectation laid on him there. And he is a talent, and we saw that a few years back when he ran Croatia all right when they were qualifying for the 2010 World Cup. So the guy's got talent. I just think at a club at Southampton, I mean, he's back at Southampton where he started his career, and he looks at ease with himself. Free kick to Manchester City. Mike Dean, our celeb, the country's most famous referee. You could call him, you could easily say he's a celebrity referee, because he likes to make himself known, even in a football crowd. I mean, remember when Tranmere Rovers won a playoff last year, a couple of years back? He was making himself known in the Wembley crowd. So I think he's probably the most famous person from Wirral after Paul O'Grady. Anyway, here's De Bruyne midway inside his own half. A little bit of juggling there, but he gets it over to the far side. And a chance now for Chancellor to come forward. Back in field to De Bruyne. Just cut it in from the left-hand side towards the Southampton penalty box. Torres is there too. Torres knocks the ball back to Rodri. In he goes towards De Bruyne. Rodri again gets it to Kyle Walker, as opposed to Kyle Walker-Peters. And this is Bernardo Silva, number 20. Looking to get it on the right, but he goes back to John Stones, who's in the side today. Didn't play on Tuesday night against West Bromwich Albion. And we'll give you some championship scores as soon as we get them. Get a breaking play. We'll give you what's going on in the championship. We'll give you half times from Leagues 1 and 2 and the Scottish League. Scottish Premier League at half time when we've had our usual 10-minute break, along with championship half times. And then at 5 o'clock live on this programme, I'll be reading the full classified check on all today's fixtures. Remember, 7-0 to Liverpool earlier today. Norwich beating Cardiff 2-0 at Carrow Road earlier this afternoon. So very cold afternoon here on the south coast, as the ball is not back there. We're right by the River Solent as well here on this beautiful south coast city, and it's a lovely city, Southampton. Great people as well, always very welcoming. As Rodri hits the ball over towards the far side, and here goes Raheem Sterling, runs at Walcott, beats him, tries to cut him from the left, but he ran into traffic, and here goes Walcott. And here go Southampton again. Che Adams. There's been a goal in the game at the Liberty Stadium. 1-0 to Swansea against lowly Barnsley. Low with the goal after 2 minutes there. And Stoke, oh, that's a great news for us Burnley fans. Stoke 1, Blackburn 0. Nick Powell, 6 minutes. Great start for Stoke. Well done, Stoke. I'm happy. That's made me very happy. That's made me ecstatically happy. They need bringing down the figure for these Blackburn fans. I think they might have had a good start, but they need bringing down to earth. Anyway, here's Danny Ings now, deep inside Manchester City territory, hurtling towards the edge of the area. Chapo now gets the ball on the edge of the area, just to the left of the D. And we'll bring you up to date. There's been a goal there. That's a bit of a shocker there at the John Smith's at the moment. Campbell, the scorer for Huddersfield Town. Now 1 up against Watford. Russell will be bringing you all the championship scores as we get them. We'll do half times in a little while. But at the moment, it's Manchester City on the break with Sterling. Back to Bernardo Silva. Just gone to the left-hand side a little bit. Now De Bruyne has gone to the right. De Bruyne crosses in from the right. He hits the defender Bertrand. And then the shot goes from about 25-30 yards. Speculative right-footed effort from Sterling that goes way into the stand. And in front of me, down below me, there are 2,000 socially distanced Saints fans. Most of them, I say social distancing, they're in sort of bubbles. Social bubbles, so families can sit together. Tell me about it. These COVID rules are so confusing. Boris has got a lot to answer for there. Anyway, enough about him. And just one more point on Boris Johnson. If you're listening, PM, please get your hair cut. Anyway, back to the game. Southampton 0, Manchester City 0. And yeah, it's been a good match so far. Just remember, Swansea and Stoke and Huddersfield winning in the Championship, and Rotherham have been postponed because of COVID in the Miller's camp, as the shot comes in there from De Bruyne, right-footed, deflected for a City corner. We've had 11 and a half minutes gone, and there we go. Well, if this game ends up being a bore fest, then I've got a few jokes. I've got a few clean Boris Johnson jokes lined up for a little later on, if that is the case. Hopefully we'll have a good game and I won't need to throw out a few gags. Anyway, corner taken short, into Gundogan, into Rodri, back to Gundogan, who hits the shot, gets a deflection, and it still might break here on the edge of the area for City. Brentford have taken the lead against Reading. Matthias Jensen, Reading, who are going so well in the league so far this season, were top at one stage early doors, but are behind at Brentford. The ball played into the penalty area, turned away for a corner, came off Kyle Walker-Peters. It's going to be a bit confusing for the two right backs, Kyle Walker and Kyle Walker-Peters. English Sports is chipping in with some League One stuff at the moment. League One, Burton 0, Doncaster 1. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the guy's name, but you can read for yourself, folks. That's who the scorer is. I've got enough on my plate here with these 22 plus 9 subs each. I've got enough on my plate. Anyway, here's a chance now for Rodri. Just winding it up, and Rodri's shot was really well struck. In fact, it was not Rodri, it was Chancelo, in fact, who wound the shot up, hit it like a hammer towards the net. Just central, 25 yards central to the goal, and in fairness, McCarthy made a fantastic save. Bernardo goes short now to Gundogan. Gundogan back to Walker. Walker turns, goes to the right, and here's Gundogan. De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, good run again down the right hand channel, but Southampton were very wise to him. Remember, Southampton, third in the league, could go second. Yes, second spot, and I'm not kidding you. They could go second with a win against Manchester City today. If they can repeat what they did on the 25th of July, oh my word, this will be the best start to the season that Ralph Huizenhurtel's ever had for a long, long time. Highest they've ever been in the top flight was second. That was in 1984 under Laurie McMenemy. Reached the FA Cup semi-finals before being cruelly beaten by a late Adrian Heath goal at Highbury in the FA semi-final. But they do have a lot of rich history. They've only actually won one major trophy in their history, considering they've been top flight regulars for some 30-40 years, barring a little spell when they struggled for about 7 or 8 years. They've been prominently a top flight team for the majority of the last 40 years, but it's City with a free kick on the far side into the penalty area, and a chance at the first goal, and it's been turned in at the back post by Rodri, but the flag is up for an offside decision, and Darren Cann on the near side deciding that, well, yeah, you could have took your choice actually from Sterling, Stones and Rodri as well for being offside. So a very good spot, and a very simple spot, it's got to be said, but linesman Darren Cann. So no goal, but City denied then, quite rightly, by the linesman's flag. And good to see the officials getting it right for once. Anyway, as I was saying, Southampton's only major trophy was the FA Cup as a second division side back in the 1976, when again were managed by Lauren McMenery. They had a favourable run to the final, knocked out the likes of Bradford and Crystal Palace very comfortably in the 2 rounds before that, and then met the mighty Manchester United, and Bobby Stokes, no longer with us, 7 minutes from the end, scored the winning goal. And how Southampton parted that May afternoon on May the 1st, 1976. But here in 2020 is a chance with De Bruyne, not back in, and this time it's a goal inside the penalty area from Raheem Sterling with the right foot. Just sort of swept it in from about 12 yards. McCarthy didn't have a hope, he didn't have a prayer, and Manchester City, after just 16 minutes of the first half, have taken the lead against a team who start the day in third place in the Premier League. This is Bernardo Silva with the run, De Bruyne with a lovely cross, and just by the penalty spot, a nice unerring finish into the far left-hand corner by Raheem Sterling, and boy did he need that as well. And no chance here as I look at it from a camera inside the goal. It's amazing what these tactical boys in television can actually do, get cameras inside goals and things like that. There's a big goal in the game at St Andrews, which I'll come to you in a minute. So 1-0 to Manchester City. We've had 16 and a half minutes, and Raheem Sterling as the goal scorer. So 1-0 to him. Good goal there for the England international. Scorpio says hello, guys. Hello, everybody. Hello, Scorpio. Perfect timing. Yeah, you timed it rather well there. You've seen a goal. You've heard a goal score live on JB Sports. We've got more of this coming up to your listening pleasure tomorrow evening. We've got West Brom against Pillow, real proper Midlands derby. That will be on the air at 7 o'clock on JB Sports. 7:15 kickoff. Here's Bernardo now for Manchester City. I'll come to the Birmingham the event at St Andrews in just a second, because we've got Romeo number 6 on the ball for Southampton, and he has gone backwards. So whilst the pace has just slowed down a little bit, I'm now in a position to say that Birmingham have scored a huge goal. Aita Karanka up against his old side today. Middlesbrough, a team that he took up and unfortunately was relegated with as well. Colin with the goal on a quarter hour, just at the same time as Raheem Sterling was notching up the first goal for Manchester City here. And that's the score, as you see there, as you know. And here come Manchester City as they come charging forward. De Bruyne now coming forward and finding Bernardo Silva. So there we are. Goal confirmed on 16 minutes, according to the television people. Game being shown actually on Prime Video, Amazon Prime Video, and they've been great this week with some very good games. I've been very happy. I'm sure their coverage has been very, very well received. Barcelona game has started. We're concentrating more on the English leagues and on the UK, because it's obviously everything's going on at the moment around leagues 1, 2 and Championship. And for those who don't know what happened in the early game, or you've been out doing your last minute bits and bobs for Christmas for the big day, let me remind you that it's been a big day for Liverpool. Crystal Palace 0, wait for it, Liverpool 7. That is unbelievable. I know you know, but for anybody that didn't know, I had to say that, because there'll be a lot of people out Christmas shopping at the moment. I don't know where Nottingham Forest are playing, actually, to be quite honest with you, but I can check. City do have possession. Southampton yet to notch a shot on goal at all. Nottingham Forest are at the moment playing Millwall. That scoreline, I can tell you, is 0-0, as McCarthy has possession now, as Ferran Torres tried, I think, a speculative shot there, which was very tamely hit, and it was easy there for Alex McCarthy. He said Al. It wants to be called Alex, not Al. That's short for Alex, and it can also be short for Alan. McCarthy just rolls the ball and just kicks off the ground. Clearance made 3/4 distance, and here's Romeo playing it in there. Here's Danny Ings inside the penalty area. Ings gets the shot off. It's well charged away. 18 on at that particular game. It's 0-0, as I said, between Forest and Nottingham Forest under the guardianship of Chris Hughton. I think if he gets a bit of money to spend and gets a good team effort going, I think Forest could get out of their predicament they're in at the moment and get up the table. Maybe sneak a playoff place. There's still a long way to go in the season, even though we're coming towards Christmas, because we kicked off a month later, so that's always a nice thing. As the shot comes in and it's beaten out, and Ings can't get on the rebound. He slipped as he went to shoot, and then the shot back in, left footed from 20 yards from Romeo, gets a huge deflection, but to Edison's credit, keeps it in play and, well, repels the danger. It was Phil Walcott that made the initial break down the right from a cross-field ball from the left-hand side. Must have been something like a 60-yard pass, and then the shot came in. It was, in fact, Walker-Peters, then Walcott. Then when the rebound, it went behind Ings, and then Romeo had the shot. That's the best that Southampton have fashioned. The possession stats, let me give you them. 40% the Saints, 60% City. McCarthy playing sweeper keeper and heading it away, even though Raheem Sterling was very close at hand. And Jepo gets possession, so inside his own half on the left-hand side. 1-0 to Manchester City. The goal scored by Raheem Sterling, and it's been a very good start from Manchester City thus far. But they've had to ride a little storm for a second or two from Southampton, who don't look obviously are looking a very good side at the moment. Just to remind you, they start the day in third position in the Premier League. If they can come back and win today, Southampton, they could go second at Christmas, could go second for at least 24 hours. And what a moment that could be. Anyway, here's Walcott inside the area, chips the ball back, and a chance here for Che Adams on the far post, and it's knocked away once again. And Southampton here having a good spell, and Jepo might keep that in play. And in the end, it's sucked away by the City defence, but, well, this is not Southampton not going quietly, that's for sure. And Jepo's got away. The whistle's gone. Mike Dean is not going to be the most popular man in Southampton. He could have played on an advantage here. It was a foul here on Bertrand, or it may have been a push actually by Bertrand. No, it wasn't. It was obstruction on Bertrand, so it was a foul on him. But then Jepo carried on, and I think the referee could have played an advantage, but he's decided to bring it back. That's the frustration with having Mike Dean as a referee in some of the games we covered. We covered him last time out at Brighton, and he was just so picky with certain decisions, and it was just unbelievable. That was Brighton against Burnley. It is worth it, Scorpio. I'll tell you the great thing about Amazon Prime in a second, because there's a free kick coming in for Southampton. It comes to Walcott on the far side. Walcott chips the ball in. Bednarek can't get there, and it's City really having to defend like tigers, almost Burnley-esque if you like, the other night against Aston Villa when they got a 0-0. That's surely a foul by Sterling on Walcott. Has to be a free kick surely to Southampton, but the referee hasn't given it. Let's have a look again, see if it was a free kick. He took that down beautifully there, Walcott. Looked a very good piece of skill there. Ball over on the far side and out of play. Yeah, it's good. It's not just got the football on. You've got you've got tennis on there, and also you've got all four. You've got three regular series. If you're a fan of Clarkson, Mayer, Hammered, you're in for a right treat on there, because not only do you get all the previous 3 series of the Grand Tour, which contains 13 episodes each plus a couple of specials. But they've got the current one where they go on a hunt for treasure or something or other, and that came out yesterday. Meanwhile, back in the football, De Bruyne has been yellow carded. Sorry, I nearly said sent off. He showed the yellow there for a horrible challenge here when he lost possession of the ball and took out Brian Bertrand there. That was an awful tackle. There's been a second goal in the game at I was going to say Griffin Park, but it's Brentford's new ground. I forget what the name was of it. I still regard Brentford playing at Griffin Park. They don't play there anymore. Brentford 2, Reading 0. Brian in Mepo scoring after 23 minutes, and we've had just over 24 and a half minutes. In fact, we're going up towards the 25th minute mark of the game. And yeah, so if you're a fan of Clarkson, Ham and Scorpio, Amazon Prime is well worth it. And there's some really nice series as well, sports series, behind the scenes, All or Nothing at the moment. That's a very good series with Tottenham Hotspur at the moment. 7-8 episodes. Narrated by the brilliant Tom Hardy as well, great actor of his own steam. There's a Manchester City one from a few years ago as well, and also you've got the Australian cricket team behind the scenes at last year's Ashes as well. Again, another All or Nothing series. So plenty of good sports and motorheads. If you're a petrol head, plenty of stuff for the petrol head with the Grand Tour as well. Plenty going there. Russ will be keeping us up to date, and then I'll be reading out the scores. So any goals in Scorpio will be across it. Russ is there helping me out with that. I've got to concentrate on our main event because Southampton trail Manchester City 1-0, but we'll be keeping you up to date, and we'll also go through the whole half-time scores at the moment. This is the goal again. There's the cross from De Bruyne, and swept in brilliantly there by Raheem Sterling to give Manchester City the lead. If you're talking top of the table in the Premier League, Scorpio, that's Liverpool. They've gone to 31 points. I'm not sure who's top of the table in the Championship, however, but I mean, I don't really keep up with the Championship. I mean, we mainly cover Premier League football on here, because sometimes we get the bigger audience for Premier League football. We do get sometimes occasionally show some Championship stuff as well when it's the playoffs and things like that. Anyway, here's Inchepo, gets it over towards the far side, and Walcott knocks it back in there. Ings with a header, and just wide of the target from 6 yards. Ings actually wants a penalty. Norwich are top of the Championship. Mike Dean says no penalty, and despite pleas from Danny Ings and Sheridan's falling on deaf ears. I mean, VAR would be looking at this, and now was this? Well, it looks a high foot to me. I'll be amazed if VAR don't get involved, because Ings goes in with a header, and that is a high foot as far as I'm concerned. I think Mike Dean has missed an opportunity there. You know what you're going to get with Mike Dean. He's not going to be squeaky clean every time. He's always going to be a controversial sort of referee, and he has been for most of his career, and I still don't get why he's still a referee to this day. But he didn't think it was a penalty. He's the Clive Thomas of the 21st century, and I'm sorry, but I don't believe that was a penalty. I do believe that was a penalty. Let's hear what Clattenburg has to say. So Clattenburg says no penalty because the high foot didn't intervene the header. But just checking with Mark Clattenburg there. That was the voice you heard as Walcott comes charging forward. That comes off a defender. That was Ruben Diaz, and a corner kick now on the far side to Southampton. Remember, at 5 o'clock we'll have the full classified results check. I mean, under these silly laws, I think if it's a high foot, it should be a penalty regardless of whether it's interfering with the football, headering of the ball or not. I've never been a keen admirer when the rules have to be scrutinised in such a silly way like that, and I blame a lot on David Ellery. A great referee in his day, but I don't think he's up with the pace of the modern game these days, and I think the rules are just a real fragment of the imagination. As the corner came in from Ward-Prowse, and Vestergaard got a good header in, virtually a free header, and it was an easy save in the end for Ederson, who just had to drop to his left and not only save it but catch it as well. Did really good bit of goalkeeping there. City play up from the back this time, and Bernardo gets possession. De Bruyne, Kyle Walker's really motored on this right hand side, and he has gone into a great position. Two in the middle. Oh, and it went behind everybody in the end. That cross from Kyle Walker. It was a really good lightning break that from Manchester City. A good counter attack there from Pep Guardiola's men. It was a really, really good break. And probably deserved a little bit better than what he got, but he didn't have the requisite players in the middle to get the crossing. But it was a lightning fast attack, no question about it. And I have to say, it's been a marvellous been a marvellous first half thus far, but just the one goal. And keep listening in, keep commenting. Later on in the second half, you'll have your say on who's going to be our man of the match award, because from the 60th minute onwards, we'll be opening the voting for a good half an hour until the 90th minute here at St Mary's for the JB Man of the Match award. All you've got to do, I'll just remind you, don't vote just yet. We've still got another half hour to 45 minutes before you can do that. But just to let you know how we do it, name of the player that you would choose, but keep watching the game. If you're watching it as well with the commentary turned down and with my commentary on, Walcott's taken one, I think, in the chest area, and he can feel the pain. So all you've got to do when the 60th minute comes around is choose the name of the player, and then you hashtag it with JB MOTM. Walcott caught one right in the chest there from Raheem Sterling, didn't he? Them two are having a right little battle royale over on the far side there, aren't they? 31 minutes almost gone then at St Mary's. And of course, some games coming up on Prime Videos as well. So these are the games coming up on their channel. Palace Leicester, that's a 2 o'clock kick-off. These are on the 28th of December. Chelsea Villa at 5. Everton Man City on at 7:30. And then on the Tuesday, Burnley Sheffield United, that's a 5 o'clock start. So too is Brighton against Arsenal. And West Ham and Southampton here against West Ham. So too is West Brom against Leeds. They're all 5 PM kickoffs. And then later that night, Manchester United at Old Trafford against Wolves. And then on December the 30th, we've got there's Tottenham against Fulham. That's a 5:30 kickoff as well. So plenty of good football coming up on Prime Video if you're a Prime Video subscriber. But I think their coverage of the Premier League is of a very high calibre compared to the other pay TV services that you get, the traditional ones like the Sky and your BTs of this world. Awful coverage from both of them. Amazon Prime really is a good place to watch your football this Christmas. But here on JB Sports, also on Amazon Prime, on television, but in the radio world, it's a Manchester City 3 kick just inside the City half. Been a good even game. City haven't had it all, City in front, but believe me, they haven't had it all their own way. The goalkeeper Edison has had to make a couple of really good saves. Still the goal on 16 minutes from Raheem Sterling is deciding things here this afternoon, and we've only kept and out of all, this is our 20th live match of the season, by the way, 20th match on JB Sports this season, bar 2 games. They've all come from the Premier League, and only one. And I'm ashamed to say Burnley were involved in this game at Brighton. Only one game out of the 20 games that we've covered so far this season have ended, one game out of 20's ended 0-0. How well are we at picking football games here on this channel? How well, what a good judge of a game I am. I judge them very, very well. We've had some real shocks as well. New Caton's on, says hello all. A little late today, but I'll get back to the European scores. Thank you, New Caton. There's been a goal at Birmingham, and Birmingham's lead didn't last long. Britta Sombalonga with the equaliser for Middlesbrough there. Neil Warnock's side back in it again. We'll come to the Brentford score in a second because Walcott is inside the area. Little chip in there towards Ings and Adams as well, and they both probably got in each other's way. The ball went in towards Che Adams. He completely missed it, and I think John Stones nodded it behind before Danny Ings could get in there. They're making some really good opportunities. Again, coming from the right-hand side. Walcott involved, a nice little chip cross in there. And if Stones hadn't got there... well, who knows. Anyway, it's a corner. And it's Ward-Prowse to take it from the far side. There's been another goal at Birmingham. We'll come to that again in a second. Here comes the corner and headed over inside the 6-yard area by the penalty spot area, rather, inside the box by Vestergaard. Oh, that's a free header, and he knows that was a great opportunity. Right, goal's gone in at Wickham. Wickham 0, QPR 1. McCarthy the scorer. Birmingham 1, Middlesbrough 2. George Saville on 31 minutes. And Russ has also embodied us of another goal at Huddersfield. It's an own goal scored by Etienne Capoue for Huddersfield against his side Watford. 32 minutes. So Watford having a dreadful day up in West Yorkshire at the moment, and having a real dreadful day at that. One of the contenders and the favourites to win promotion back to the Premier League this season. But Scorpio says, watching the game is nice and all, but the radio is a different vibe. I agree, Scorpio. Radio commentary is the future. That's why we do them. It's not just because we don't have televisional rights, it's because what happened there. And of course, Brentford 3, that's the score I didn't get to read. In Bembo after 29 minutes. So they're 3 up against Reading, and well, after a struttering start, Brentford, they're getting their act together again. And maybe, just maybe, having a little bit of a maybe tilting at another promotion bid this season. They do look a good side, and they're always able to replace players. Remember they lost their top scorer last year, Ollie Watkins, to Aston Villa, and he's replaced him. And I have to say, what a clever buy Ivan Toney's been. Plenty of goals for him this season in a Brentford shirt. And here's a chance now for Walcott inside the area after a good run by Walker Peters. Walcott has kept it in by the byline on the far side. Walker Peters linking up with him well. Now the cross comes in from the right hand side, and Ings and Adams again were both going for the ball, but City got it clear, and it's Walker who clears it away down the right. Gets it up towards the centre circle where Torres holds it up. Now Sterling has it on halfway on the left hand side. 10 minutes to half time, or 9 minutes rather, plus stoppage time to half time. And Wembo had a second goal in space of 10 minutes. Absolutely spot on, New Caton. Anyway, here comes Manchester City again. Remember, tomorrow night, our final game before the Christmas break for us, before Christmas Day. And that will be the big Midlands derby. The big Midlands derby. Just 3 miles separate West Bromwich Albion and Aston Villa in the city of Birmingham. And we'll be there tomorrow night live on JB Sports to bring you a very fierce West Midlands derby. 7 o'clock start. We start 7:15 kick-off, and then a couple more dates in your diary, folks. Tomorrow night after the football, and yeah, there's that as well. Yeah, there's our version of the match as well tomorrow, I forgot to tell you. And then we've got Scott Sport at 10 o'clock after the premiere. But a couple more dates for your diary elsewhere on other channels. We'll just come to those in a second, because we've got a Manchester City player down. A yellow card has been brandished to Romeo. There's a foul on Diaz, I think. Was it Diaz? No, it was Torres, sorry. Yeah, Torres. It was a late challenge. I think the referee was correct. I'm not sure yet, New Caton. I will let you know on Twitter. If you have me, also, if you haven't got me on Twitter, are you on Twitter, New Caton? Because I'll give you my Twitter handle as well. For those who haven't got me on Twitter, you can find me at Stutsy83. That's STUTTSY 83. That is my Twitter address, my Twitter handle. And thank you, English Sports, and we'll see you tomorrow for that premiere. Of course, we've got live commentary as well. West Brom against Villa. That's a game you will not want to miss commentary on. And then we've got the Raven West series on Chris Whiteman's channel at 9:15 tomorrow night. And then my version of Scott Sport at 10 o'clock back on here. And then on Christmas Day, Trevor Sports, the Christmas gift of a channel that keeps on giving, doesn't he? Trevor keeps on giving you great content, and we've got a great Christmas show of Match of the Day for you on Christmas Day. And by the way, guys, I should also tell you the games involved Leeds United against Burnley and Arsenal Chelsea, and they should be potentially good games there in the virtual world, as they will be on Boxing Day as well. But those are the Christmas fixtures. You'll be able to see that on Christmas Day. But I should also stress and note, and please note this down, folks, there will be no premiere for that particular edition of Match of the Day, because of everyone will obviously be with the families on Christmas Day. Trevor will drop it for you on Christmas Day, but also I should also tell you that it will not be a premiere like the previous ones have gone before. Danny Ings is down on the ground receiving treatments. So just to remind you, Trevor's Match of the Day Christmas Day, he'll be dropping it on YouTube. But I should remind you, and I'll remind you again tomorrow night as well. Please let it be. It's not a premiere. It's not a premiere. It'll be a normal video uploaded on the day, and you can watch it at your own convenience. So please let that. I just want to make it absolutely clear that there'll be no premiere on Christmas Day on Trevor Sports. Okay, thank you. We're just waiting. Well, we're 5 minutes from the end of the first half. This channel is sponsored by Trevor Sports. Well, you don't pay me any money for it. If you're listening, Trevor, don't worry. Yeah, he's a great person. I speak to him. Well, I mean, we did the cricket together, me and Trevor, and he's a fantastic guy, Newcastle, and you're absolutely right. One of the things, I spoke to him off air, and when we do the cricket and everything, and he's a genuine nice fella, and we're just got to break off for a second because we've got a substitution, number 23. So Ings has been forced off there, and it's Nathan Teller who comes on to replace poor old Danny Ings, who has been in the form of his life this season, and 6 goals from 10 games, and that's really sad. Really sad to see that him going off there, because he's been in red hot form this season and he's been brilliant. Russ says, Trev, CW, JB, myself are great people to work alongside for the commentaries, either on this channel or on Trevor's channel, and he's absolutely right. I've worked with CW and Russ for many years, started working with Trevor this year on his channel, and everybody that works on the channel and works on my channel, we're all one big happy family. That's another free kick to Manchester City midway inside the City half. Another yellow card. Well, he's bandaging them out more cars than Clinton's now, isn't he? Ralph Husenhurtl's besieged with rage. Rob Jones has got a job on there. Ward-Prowse certainly trips him, but I don't think it was enough to be a yellow card. I think the delayed reaction from Gundogan was a little bit hard, has made the referee give a harsher punishment than what it normally would be. You're going to have tackles in the game. I think Mike Dean is just starting to take over things now. I think dishing out yellow cards left, right and centre sometimes can be a bad thing. Here's Ward-Prowse now. He's got to watch his step, and he finds in Jeppo, and he's got Tello and Adams on the left hand side, but they've got Walcott and Walker Peters. This is Walker Peters trying to take on Chancellor, and Chancellor dispossessed the former Spurs player with very considerable ease. 3 minutes to half time. There might be a bit of a couple of minutes maybe for stoppage time. There might be a huge chunk as Walcott makes his way to the area, gets to the byline. Adams waits in the centre, and the ball deflects off a City player last in the corner. Came off defender Diaz, and it will be a corner. So opportunity knocks potentially here for Southampton as we go into the final 2 minutes of normal time at the end of the first half. Can the team, lying third at the moment as things stand, a win would take them into second place? They've got 24 points. An amazing return from them, who were expected to be in and around the lower mid-table reaches. But you've got to say, even if they lose today, what a start to the season Southampton have had, and a great first half of the season. Well, it's not really a first half, really. Will be probably the first half of the season, in fairness, will be sort of over by the time the third round of the Cup comes round on the 7th of January. And that will be that, really. So many games to fit in from now until the end of the season. As the corner comes in, misses everybody. Southampton will try and keep it alive on the near side here. With Bertrand back inside now to Walker Peters, who's just taken up a more central approach on the centre circle. Still, Walcott now has it on the right. Goes past Chancellor, he goes down. Referee agrees with the linesman. It's a free kick. Chancellor, the man penalised. Ralph Husenhurtl wants a yellow card because he feels like Southampton are being picked on a little bit on the bookings, and I have to say that looks more of a yellow card than one or two that Mike Dean has awarded to Southampton, or has discredited Southampton too. But Mike Dean keeps his cards this time very much in his upper pocket. Free kick now to Southampton. Right hand side in a very good position now, almost level with the edge of the 18-yard area. Now then, Ward-Prowse putting some really good set pieces so far, which deserve better reward than what they've got. Ward-Prowse hits it from the right hand side, right footed in towards the penalty area where Vestergaard was going in, but so too was the goalkeeper. Henderson in a nice, clean, sound catch by the Manchester City goalkeeper. That was a good goalkeeper, and it's very rare you see a foreign goalkeeper actually catch a ball. They tend to punch them these days. So it's nice to see Edison there, the Brazilian goalkeeper, not renowned for their catching ability. The Brazilian goalkeeper, they're usually a little bit on the eccentric side, but nothing wrong with that to catch there. We're into 2 added minutes, and we're 30 seconds into the first of those two. Here's Edison now kicking away with his left foot and gets a good purchase on that, 3/4 of the way up the field, but he only finds Vestergaard there, and did really well there, but he's lost possession this time on halfway to Kyle Walker. And even had his ripe old age of 30, he's got pace to burn, this kid. Raheem Sterling, no change in any of the championship scores from when we last saw there. We've got goal flashes coming up. When Russ gets a goal flash, he flashes them up for us. But we will give you a full rundown of all the half-time scores in the Championship Leagues 1 and 2, the Conference, or the National League I should say, not the Vauxhall Conference. You get that thing stuck in your head, don't you, for certain league, and the Scottish Premier Division as well at half-time. We'll bring you all the half-time scores from those 5 leagues before the second half of this game, but we will be having a 10-minute break, our usual 10-minute break, because I'll need to relax for a couple of minutes. Probably need to lie down. All that broadcasting this week really takes it out of one. Anyway, here's Gundogan now for Manchester City. Gets it inside to Kevin De Bruyne, deep inside Southampton territory. We've got 30 seconds of stoppage time to go at the end of the first half. And it's been an eventful one. Just the one goal thus far from Raheem Sterling. And here's Bernardo on the far side. Gets past a couple of Saints defenders, but runs out of field. 10 seconds from the end of stoppage time now. Mike Dean just having a little check on his watch. Southampton, of course, in no hurry to take the throw. So we've played the 2 minutes. Why doesn't Mike Dean just blow up now and just not bother with the whole situation? No, he's listened to my words there, hasn't he? Anyway, he's brought up for half time, and Manchester City in the lead, but it's not been plain sailing for them. Walcott's forced the goalkeeper into making a few saves as well, and Ings has come close, but Ings had to go off with an injury, and Nathan Tello replaced him. So it's been a mixed bag for Southampton. They trailed 1-0, lost Danny Ings, but they've really forced the issue in Manchester City. But that goal on 16 minutes from Raheem Sterling is the difference between the two sides as they make their way off the field at St Mary's. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break, and then after that break I will bring you all the half-time scores from the Championship, Leagues 1 and 2, the National League and the Scottish Premier League. But at half-time here at St Mary's, it's Southampton 0, Manchester City 1. We'll be back in 10. Welcome back to St Mary's, where we're just about ready to kick off the second half. Sorry I wasn't giving you the full half times because something cropped up earlier. Russ has just sent me some stats through Messenger on Facebook. Let me just go through those instead for you. We'll bring you all the full-time results at 5 o'clock, so don't worry. So ball possession 58 to 42. Total shots 7 Southampton, 5 Man City. On target 2 apiece. Shots off target 3 to 1 in Southampton's favour. Block shots 2 each. 4 corners to 3. Away we go in the second half. I'll come back to those when we get a big breaking play. If we get an injury, then it's something that we can fall back on for the second half. No changes from either side. Just that one unforced substitution from Southampton. Tello coming on for Ings during the first half, but apart from that, no further changes as we get the second half underway. And this is a penultimate game we have for you live on JB Sports before we head off for Christmas. We will be back after Christmas with more live commentaries, and then of course into the new year, FA Cup coming up and everything else. We'll be looking to do 6 or 7 ties from that third round. Well, it all depends on, I've got a new day job now, so I'm waiting on the start dates for that. And in the new year I'll have to work the commentaries in and around a new job as well, so you'll have to bear with me, folks, on that one. Anyway, we're back live with you in the second half, and Walker Peters has the ball. We've had about a minute in the second half. Nothing really has happened thus far. Barcelona 0, Valencia 0 was a scoreline that was flashed up just before the whistle went here, and there'd been 30 minutes played. I don't know if it's still the same at the moment, but it's Barcelona 0 as the shot comes in and just wide from Torres. That just it was a ball that just flashed wide of the far post there. Good shot. Torres, a new signing in the summer to replace David Silva. Good right footer right across the goal. McCarthy may have just covered that post just enough there, but Torres there just getting that shot off, and he got it off so well, but again just missed the target. Apologies for the lack of half-time scores. I'm a very busy man at the moment, so everyone wants a piece of me at the moment, on football and away from football, it seems. Let me run through that Southampton lineup. So we've had the one change. So McCarthy in goal, Walker Peters, Bednarek, Vestergaard and Bertrand, unchanged back 4. And it's an unchanged midfield with Walcott, Ward-Prowse, Romeo and Injepo. Ward-Prowse and Romeo on yellow cards. Danny Ings has actually been replaced by Che Adams, I think, or is he back out for the second half? Well, it says on the caption Danny Ings is back out for the second half. Now is that... I wonder why that is, because Alex Tello is on the field. Anyway, it's Alex Tello, not Danny Ings. Well, the television people have really confused me there, haven't they? Come on, Amazon, get your graphics right. It's Alex Tello that's on and not Danny Ings. That's what it said on the graphics, but it's definitely Tello. I've seen number 23 on the field. Ings went off with an injury. Just to remind you of the Man City lineup: Ederson, Walker, Stones, Diaz, Cancelo, Gundogan, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, Sterling and Torres. So there, that I can categorically say is the Manchester City lineup for the second half, as Walker Peters takes a throw in and then gets it back to his goalkeeper McCarthy, and then the ball back again. Yeah, no, I knew Nathan Taylor had come on, Russ. It's just that the television people had confused me a bit, because they were talking about a concussion. They were talking about a sort of an injury bin, so an interchange in substitutions. Now obviously that comes on, and then there's been a confusion in the 9 subs rule. Just to remind you that 3 can only be used at any from the substitutes bench of 9. I'll read the 8 for Southampton and the 9 for Manchester City as soon as they get a break in play, because it's quite a long-winded process these days. Even when you're doing notes for these games, now you've got the 9 substitute law. It's 9 substitutes can be nominated, but 3 can play. Just to run you Barcelona 0, Valencia have scored. Valencia scored just before half-time, I believe, in the new camp. Now, Barcelona are having a really poor season in the league. Off the pace from leaders Atletico Madrid. And they're not doing much in the game at home to Valencia. Valencia 1-up at half-time. So a bit of work for Koeman's boys to do in that dressing room at half-time, it seems. As Bednarek gets the ball on the edge of his own area. It goes back to Vestergaard, and Romeo back to Bednarek once more. Hits the ball out towards the left-hand side, but or right-hand side, I should say. Tello was, rather Walcott, was lurking. It's thrown to Manchester City. Ball inside the area. Scorpio, this is not going to be good news for you, I'm afraid. Bradshaw has scored the opening goal in the game at the New Den. Millwall 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Bradshaw the scorer, 47 minutes. That's a latest score there. All the games now up and down the UK. The Rotherham match was caught up because a couple of players from Rotherham tested for that certain virus that's going around at the moment. I love to mention its name because it causes so much frustration in my life. And it stopped me from seeing friends. Well, I sort of say Boris. There's a press conference at Downing Street, but I urge you not to watch that. I urge you to stick with us. I am on JB Sports. We don't do politics on this programme, we do sport. And if they ban sport, it hurts my channel as well, as it did last season, which I was very upset about. Anyway, here comes Walker Peters coming down the right hand side. Peters back towards Ward-Prowse, gets the crossing towards the back post and nodded away once more, and into touch it goes by Kyle Walker. Road of Southampton, level with the edge of the 18-yard box for them. Now what can the Saints produce here? 6.5 minutes into the second half. Tello has it on the far side, but the referee is blown for offside. Darren Can eagle-eyed on the near side, giving a free kick to Manchester City, which John Stones will leave, I think, to Edison. Indeed he will. Edison will take command, and yeah, Sheffield United, well, they put up a bit of a spirited performance against Manchester United. Went 1-up in that game, came back and only lost by the odd goal in the end. Odd goal in 5, Sheffield United. No wins and a draw, and they've lost the rest. 1 point all season. But they're still sticking with Chris Wilder, to their credit. No panic buttons being pressed yet. Still a long way to go in the season. We've only had about 12 games. I think people forget, actually, on the bigger picture, that we started in early September, mid-September. We didn't start in August. They finished the season in August. They finished the Champions League final in August, remember. Anyway, there's been a goal down at up at the New Den. Millwall 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Myton, is that how you pronounce it? Mitten. Anyway, it's 1-1 anyway. His goal coming after 49 minutes. Here it's 1-0 to Manchester City in our main event, the 3 o'clock kick-off between Southampton and Manchester United. Second and third against 9th at the start, and here's a chance for Bernardo inside the area. Bernardo shoots, and he scuffs it rather tamely, and McCarthy just stuck out a right hand and managed to pat it into his midriff and clamber on the ball. Lightning fast attack this. De Bruyne involved again, Sterling as well. The ball came in there, goes past the defender, Bertrand, and then his shot was so scuffed, and it was sort of like a P-roll, if you like, a sort of a trickle roll. Wasn't going anywhere, probably about 2 miles an hour, if you like, and McCarthy was able to stretch and just get the ball and quell the danger for Southampton at the moment. So 1-0 still. You pronounce Myton as My-10. Oh, My-10. Okay. And so it's a 2-syllable name. Okay, fair enough. It's fair enough for us. I've never seen the player before. I don't watch another championship football, so if I mispronounce a couple of the names, then I do apologise. Keep commenting. We're only about 7 minutes or so away, in fact 6 minutes away from the voting for the JB Man of the Match. Now, for anybody who doesn't listen to these programmes enough, let me just remind you what you need to do. name of the player, and then you hashtag it for the vote to count. And the hashtag for that is JBMLTM. But you don't do it until the 60th minute, until I say. And then whoever has the most votes at the end wins the JB award. They don't get anything, of course, just a couple of Johnny Bonds, but apart from that, nothing else. Here comes, they don't get a bottle of bubbly, they have enough booze and they have enough money to buy bubbly, Moe on tap, or even Bollinger, depending on what your tastes are of champagne, very expensive champagne. Here's Walker Peters into Walcott, back to Walker Peters. I'm sure Walcott's got plenty of bottles of the old Bollinger nice and chilled in his fridge. Newcastle just saying that Seville are struggling in 6th place. Well, it's not a bad position for Seville. The Europa League is always good, and also they also have to have a. Also, you've got to remember, most seasons they have a big turnover of players. So sometimes you don't really need to read too much into that. Really, I mean, Seville won the Europa League last year and had a completely different squad to the season before last. So. It swings and roundabouts. It's all the second half of the season will be where it's at the end of it. As Sterling finds Gundogan inside the penalty area, but it's well hounded out by Southampton. It's a corner to Manchester City on the near side, the City left-hand side. Remember, we've got another live commentary coming up for you on JB Sports tomorrow night. We've got the Hawthorns for live commentary of West Bromwich Albion against Aston Villa. So two Midland rivals battling it out at the Hawthorns. Aston Villa making the 2.5 mile trek from Villa Park. City have a corner. They've made about a 900 mile round trip to be at St Mary's this afternoon. Ball played in there by Chancellor, but it's easy into the penalty area, but it's into no man's land, and now it's McCarthy, who's now established himself as the main #1 goalkeeper now at the club. Picks up possession, gets Southampton going from the back again. This is Walker Peters now on the right hand side. Goes back again to Vestergaard. Now Ward-Prowse finds Walker Peters on the left. Luke Gayton says the JB Award winners. Man of the match gets 2 bottles of champagne and one award and some Trevor bombs. Now we're not that rich, and we've got a very low budget here. You know, we do these videos on a budget of about £300. The PlayStation, how much it costs. The monitor was about another 70 quid. So we do these on a very shoestring budget, 370 quid. The whole setup for this for these live commentaries. We're very basic here at this channel, but the voice is effective. The notepads are always there. We've got the streams. Of course, there's a laptop we won for free from a Talk Sport predictor competition a few years back as well. That's served me now for the last 3 and a bit years, and it's still going very, very strong. Anyway, we're back live with the match, and we're going to see Gineppo go off the field. He's going to be replaced. That's his second substitute. We should send 300 quid on Harry Kane. It'd take more than 300 quid to get Harry Kane, I can tell you. Anyway, back to the game, and here comes Diapo going off, and Nathan Redmond, a promising young lad, started his career at St Andrews at Birmingham. Lost his way a little bit, had a few injury problems, but he's going to have a good 58 minutes or 32 minutes. But it's the Southampton corner. Ward-Prowse into the penalty area. Goalkeeper couldn't take no risk, went right in on that near post, almost like an Ashley Westwood type corner, that from James Ward-Prowse. I think he's been watching videos of Ashley Westwood. They're swinging him right in on the goalkeeper there. I think Ashley Westwood has set a trend for all corners. Anyway, here comes the corner again. Ward-Prowse again, another ring swinger towards the near post. Adams was there. City, they appeal handball there. Southampton, they think it's a handball. Referee decides not to give it. I have to say it was a bit of a pinball machine scene in there. I'd have to look at a replay to define whether that was an actual clear handball or not. I'm sure VAR, Lee Mason on VAR will check that. Southampton have won a 3 kick. Now then, is this Hams against Stones? Certainly not. And the arm is out. Comes off the fine, off the upper arm of Sterling. Yeah. I don't think you can give that a phone pink. I think the referee was right. No doubt about that. Carry on. Southampton are still having a good bit of possession here, and Walker-Peters has stayed on side, but Cancelo is there, but he's backheeled it off Walker-Peters for a goal kick to Manchester City. 30 seconds before we start the voting. The man in the match, and I'm sure a couple of you are desperate to get voting on that. Of course, this is our penultimate live commentary before Christmas as well. Don't forget, we've got a couple of virtual programmes ourselves on JB Sports. We've got a cracking game in the second week of our match programme where we've got Burnley against Arsenal. That's going to be a cracking. Meanwhile, here in the real world, here's a chance for Redmond shooting, and he hits it tamely with his right foot, and it was straight down the goalkeeper's throat. Still not 1-0 to Manchester City. Yes, we got the game match tomorrow afternoon. That's FIFA 21, and then we've got Scott Sport. That's PES 2020. That's at 10. A couple of other dates for your diary as regards my. And I'm going to plug a couple of other YouTubers now. Very good friends of mine in their own right. Chris Whiteman's channel. The latest episode of Raven West coming up. Here's Walcott though. Let's just break off for a second. Walcott's crossing a chance here. Oh, Redmond missed his kick with the right foot just when he was in a great position to shoot there. And a great moment that could have been for Southampton. Still in possession again. And De Bruyne gets it out. This is a great second half this. And Gundogan finds Sterling, the goal scorer, cuts in from the left hand side, then just goes back on himself and finds Cancelo, just confidently swaying it around at the moment, and or passing the ball around I should say. And the man in the match vote is now open, folks. Name of the player please, and then to make the vote count, hashtag it with the hashtag of course JBMOTM please. And the winner, whoever gets the votes at the end of 90 minutes will win. Don't forget we'll have a full classified check from all around the UK at 5 o'clock on the dot here on JB Sports. Here's we'll come back to Chris's and Trevor's videos, what they've got coming up for you in the next 5 days or so. In fact, we can do that now because Redmond's run that out of play for Manchester City Throw halfway inside the City half. So with that in mind, let me tell you what's coming up then. So after we're finished at the Hawthorns, I urge you to go over to Chris Whiteman's channel tomorrow and check out episode 4. He's premiering episode 4 of the Raven West Formula 1 adventure. If you haven't seen the other 3 episodes before that, I suggest you watch them during tomorrow afternoon around about 2 o'clock. Watch the other 3. They're all half-hour long episodes, so it's well worth watching. And then you get the idea of what it's all about. Then Trevor will be commentating in guise as Trevor Walker, so he'll be doing the commentary standing up, and he gives it plenty of throttle as a Formula 1 commentator. One of the best that does the virtual Formula 1 around. Absolutely superb. And then speaking of Trevor, Boxing Day, or Christmas Day rather, he's dropping a special edition of Match of the Day, including Leeds home match with Burnley, and of course we've got Chelsea Arsenal. That's a game I recorded for him last night. I'm not going to give anything away, only that tune in whenever you can. And then please note, if you haven't heard already, that we will not be premiering that Trevor will not be premiering that video. It's going to be a drop in. It's going to be a drop, and watch when you want. So please, so he'll upload it, but it will not be as a premiere, as it's going to be on Christmas Day, and besides which, everyone should be with their families on Christmas Day anyway. So make sure that you're with yours and stay in your social bubbles. Back here at St Mary's, we've got a vote for man of the match also from Luke Caton, who's made a first bid for the votes. And he's set the standard there that the rest of you have to follow. The hashtag JBMLTM, Raheem Sterling. You can do it the opposite way if you like. As long as you've got the hashtag there, then that's fine. Here's Walcott now to Walker-Peters on the right hand side, deep inside City territory. Here comes the cross from Romeo. It's a good one, and the header came, and the header was missed inside the penalty area there. Just over the head. I think it was Romeo, I think. Let's have a look on replay. Yeah, looks like it to me. It might have been Walker Peters actually. No, it was Walker Peters. I was never going to reach that actually. It was a good cross though. Walker Peters there just... I was getting there sadly in a month of Sundays there for Southampton, who despite losing this game, have shown a lot of... should be credited to the way they've got about the game and made it very difficult for Manchester City. There's been another goal at St Andrews, and it's not good news for Birmingham fans because Middlesbrough have scored a third one. It's an Etheridge own goal on 56 minutes. Here's Raheem Sterling in our match. Inside the penalty area, cutting in from the right. Beats one man, beats another, beats a third on the edge of the area. But he has to go backwards because he's surrounded by red-shirted Southampton defenders. Here's Gundogan, still midway inside the Southampton half. Now on the right-hand side, McCarthy is Russ's choice for man in the match. Do you agree with those selections from Luke Caton and McCarthy? McCarthy's Russ's choice. Sterling is Luke Caton's choice. Who do you think will win? Keep voting, folks. JBMOTM and the name of your player, or you can do it the opposite way round, vice versa. But as long as you put the hashtag JBMOTM, your vote will count. As the ball comes forward now towards Torres, but he's beaten in there, and now a chance now for Walcott and Walker Peters to put some move together now for Southampton. Romeo has it in deep inside the Southampton half. Remember, stay tuned for 5 o'clock. We're not finished by a long chalk after the final whistle, because at 5 o'clock UK time we'll be bringing you the full classified football results from England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Remember, earlier today, in case you need reminding, and you won't need reminding, but Crystal Palace 0, Crystal Palace 0 rather, Liverpool 7, yes, 7-0. And they go to 31 points at the top of the league and will be Christmas table toppers along with a certain Mariah Carey. A handball there against Southampton, which has not pleased Ralph Husenhurtle. And when you look at... well, let's have a look at it again. No, he's got it... oh, that's a poor decision. That is a horrible decision. Walker Peters has clearly got it on the chest. I mean, Mike Dean must have been about 20 yards away. How could he clearly see that was a handball? I'm sorry, but... and, well, Mike Dean is not winning any friends here in St Mary's, to be quite honest. There are a few ironic cheers as Walker Peters wins a free kick, and then Mike just... there we go. A few more ironic cheers. It's fair to say that Mike Dean is not... there's a foul there on Nathan Redmond. It's fair to say that Mike Dean is not very popular in these parts at the moment down by the Solent. Anyway, here comes Bertrand now for Southampton. Can they force an equaliser and get a creditable point? And the point against Manchester City is nothing to be sniffed at. Last 5 minutes on possession, 60% Southampton, 40% Manchester City. You've got 23 minutes to vote for your man in the match. Luke Caton and Russ have voted, and they've both gone for separate players. One has gone for McCarthy. The other is going to Raheem Sterling. That's the one. Kevin's on. Palace still trying to comply with Tier 4 social distancing protocols. Well, bad result there for Palace, but they've still had a decent start to the season, and one game against Liverpool is not going to shape one season, Kevin, so don't worry. Just one of those days where it just wasn't to be. You know, some days it happens and some days it doesn't, but that's football. But here comes Southampton now, looking to try and get themselves back into this game. They've had opportunities, they've played really well in the game, and on another day they could have had a couple themselves. It's been it deserves more than the one goal that we've had in the 68.5 minutes that we've been going for now. As Bednarek now has to turn back, finds Vestergaard, number 4, gets it forward there, looking towards Redmond. Redmond takes it down on the left hand side. And now look at this run now from Bertrand, but the cross was charged down. Redmond wins it back though. Ward-Prowse has it now, cuts in from the left. Has to just go back a little bit, but then gets it out to Redmond again on the left hand side, deep inside City territory. Remember the JB Man of the Match award. 1 vote for McCarthy, 1 vote for Sterling. Can we get an outright winner in the remaining 20 minutes of the voting? You've still got plenty of time to vote, so get your thinking caps on. Swansea 2, Barnsley 0, and a Bojo. You're coming up with these awful names for us. I can't pronounce half of them, but it's an own goal anyway. And a Bojo with the own goal there. 66 minutes. Here's Vestergaard now on halfway for Southampton. Oh, and Bertrand was very sleepy there, and this could cost them now. And this is De Bruyne now. He's surely to make it 2. Oh, he scuffed the shot with his right foot. Kevin De Bruyne won a chance for City to really put the game to bed there in the 69th minute. And he didn't take the chance. And all of a sudden now, Southampton have survived. Right, so let me just bring you up to date with something that bring you up to date with some more scores. Brentford have conceded against Reading. Reading have pulled a goal back. Aluko scoring after 64 minutes. And a goal at Hillsborough, and Sheffield Wednesday have been really struggling. Sacked manager Gary Monk, brought in Tony Pulis, and they're getting an instant reward against a vastly improved commentary side. They've got some very good wins in the last few weeks, certainly when they've been playing at St Andrews. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Commentary 0, Leeds on 67 minutes. Meanwhile here we've had 70 minutes of high octane Premier League action, just the one goal to show for it, but no lack of trying from any of the other players out there. Remember, Southampton lost Danny Ings early doors towards the end of the first half with an injury, which is why Tello is on the field. Nathan Tello, that is, and the ball is going out of play. Throwing to Manchester City, and we're going to see Riyad Mahrez come on now. Telling Torres there to hurry up. He wants to get on there. He's eager. Reba is our Mahrez. He's our Riyad. Anyway, free kick or throw into Manchester City. So Mahrez really jumping at the bit like a dog with a bone, really. I think we're going to see. I think Phil Foden, is it? I'm sure there was another substitute being lined up now. I think Phil Foden is about to come on. We'll come back to that in just a second. Yeah, Foden is waiting on the far side. De Bruyne takes it in the centre circle. Sterling in a bit of space now as he heads towards the Southampton box. 1-on-1 here against Walker Peters, and can't get the ball through. And it trickles nicely through, nice and easy there for Alex McCarthy. Southampton are on their way again with Kyle Walker-Peters. And Walker-Peters now has got Walcott out on that... he's got Tello out on that near side. Gets the cross in and defending. Took it away and a chance there for Southampton. And the ball goes into the net, but it's into the side net from Che Adams on the far post. And it would have took a lot for him to hit the target. It was an acute angle, but again, down the right, Southampton looked very dangerous. This time across from Tello, Nathan Tello, and in the end, the angle really died on Che Adams. It was John Stones really that put the goalkeeper in a little bit of trouble, and it would have took a lot for Che Adams to headed the ball back into the net from an acute angle, and as it happened, it hit the far side netting. I don't really want to think about it, Kevin, to be quite honest, and I think we just should talk about the football and not about pandemics at the moment. We're not a political station, and don't take this the wrong way. We're here to cover sport, not Boris Johnson's Tier 4 stuff. That is another topic for another channel, which we've got going on at the moment. I've got 2 new channels. We did have the gaming channel, but we're going to be binning that off, I'm afraid. But we're going to have JB News and JB Entertainment as well. As soon as I get 5 minutes to do those channels established, I will do. They've opened up in the last sort of 2 months. The JB Entertainment will be more of a TikTok video, and I've got something special lined up for Christmas, which you might enjoy. But at the moment, if you're not a big fan of Boris Johnson or Matt Hancock, that might be something you might enjoy. But the less said about that, the better. Anyway, here's Walker getting it forward for Manchester City. Let's get back to some football action now. Let's not worry about what may happen or what might happen. Hopefully nothing will affect the football that's going on at the moment. Live sport is what we get most of our subscriber base on, and thank you to the people that have recently subscribed. We're on 765 at the last count in subscribers. and you're all very much a big support bubble for me as I look to try and get to 1,000 subscribers. That's the target for next year, 2021, providing everything just gets done to perfection. It would have been this year, but because of the COVID pandemic, which took out 3 months of football, it really did hit the channel after 3 months. There's no disputing that. I spent most of my time on Trevor's channel, which I was quite grateful for in the end. But still, you've got a quarter of an hour to vote for your man of the match. Yeah, and thank you, Russ. It's been emotional, really. We're only 25 away from 800. 35, sorry, away from 800. So if you haven't subscribed to the video, please keep subscribing. Keep plugging the vids as well, guys. Keep putting in the commentaries. We've got a good one for you tomorrow as the cross comes in from Walker Peters, but it's out of play for a goal kick. We've got a good one for you tomorrow. Proper derby match tomorrow from the West Midlands, just outside Birmingham, West Bromwich to be exact. As Sam Allardyce takes charge of West Bromwich Albion for the first time, and what a game to take charge of as well against the local rivals, the fierce local rivals, Aston Villa. Live from the Hawthorns, kick-off at 7:15. We're on the air at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. So stay tuned, folks, and then we'll have the Raven West series on Chris's channel, and of course boxing, and then Trevor's virtual match of the day, where we're dropping on Christmas Day. Nice little Christmas presents for everybody. And please subscribe to both their channels, please. They need the subscribers. They work on very good content, and I know Chris and Trevor work very, very hard. They have more. I mean, I get very amped up when I have to edit things down. It's about time I'm consuming, but at least it passes some time if you're bored, I suppose. But I don't know where Chris and Trevor get their energy from to put out the content, but they do a magnificent job, and so they'd appreciate a like from any of you guys. So keep supporting them as well as you're supporting me. And who knows what might happen. Well, we've got a quarter of an hour to go. We're still leveling the man and match, please. And we could do with some more votes, thanks, people. So, name of the player. Hashtag it, JBMOTM. 1 vote thus far for McCarthy. And 1 vote for Sterling. And if it does end a draw, then I will have to decide. There's some hot news at the Emirates Stadium which concerns Arsenal, which I'll come to in a second. You might have read it as well, but I'll give it to you in a second, because City are on the attack here with Kevin De Bruyne. Cuts in from the left hand side, pass forward Prowse. He's got Bernardo to his right hand side. Now a chance here for Riyad Mahrez to try and measure a ball into the penalty area. It might break here for Rodri, who shoots, and it's a good effort and a good save again by Alex McCarthy. Hit that very well. It was Gundogan, sorry, with the shot. And that would have been a lovely second goal for Manchester City. That was nice work here. De Bruyne getting the ball in. And I'll give you that news from Everton Arsenal in just a second. That was going in as well, because City have got a corner here at the at St Mary's as we go into the final 13 minutes plus any injury time that might be added on as the ball comes in. Don't forget the man in the match boat, ladies and gents. Ball out towards the far side, and this is Riyad Mahrez, so desperate to get on, and he certainly had plenty of the ball. 12 minutes to play, 78 minutes, and here goes Bernardo Silva just going over to the left. Gundogan, Rodri in the middle, Gundogan's further forward. Ball out towards the far side. Here goes Mr. Mahrez. He'll run at the defender Bertrand, and it's going to be a goal kick, I think. Yeah, off Riyad Mahrez last, and a goal kick to the Saints. Right, let me just give you that big news, hot news really, from Goodison Park. No Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. There's been a cast, and it's not because he's been dropped or anything. He's had it's due to a tight calf, so a little bit of an injury there for Aubameyang. He's not being risked by Arteta. It's a huge blow for Arsenal, that. I know he hasn't played well. I know he scored the other day, but in the main he hasn't been firing on all cylinders, and that is not what Arsenal need right now when they're looking for points. They're only 5 points off the relegation zone at the moment, Arsenal, and I was on Mike Harniman's programme on his YouTube channel the other night, and really discussing more about Arsenal than Burnley's epic performance, but I suppose it was inevitable. And of course we'll have the full classified at the end of this game. Anyway, here comes Redmond now for Southampton. Crossing to the penalty area. It comes here now to Walker-Peters in space on the right. And now the cross in there from Ward-Prowse. It's a good one, and it's just behind Shea Adams, who tried to header it, but he was trying to flick it, and then he's fouled Kyle Walker in trying to win the ball back on the far side, and it's a free kick to Manchester City, which is disappointing some Southampton fans below me. Just too much venom and whip for Adams to really get a header in on goal, and he headed it backwards as it turned out, and then fouls Kyle Walker purely out of frustration from trips in there. Although Walker's dive was out of the Tom Daly variety. Well, we're going to see number 40 now. Why do they keep putting these names at me? And Dudo and Lundudo, I think that's how you pronounce it. Well, I'm looking in. My writing's not very good. It's Doctor's handwriting, my notes, honestly. I don't know why I bother writing notes sometimes. I can't even read my own writing sometimes. Right, 10 minutes to go. Can Southampton pull off a late show now and get back into it? Oh, they nearly did there. Teller was going in, but the goalkeeper quickly off limits and offside given. And Edison has been booked. Don't know what he was booked for, actually. Answers on a postcard, please. I just think the referee's just doing it to win fans, I think, and that's ridiculous. Anyway, off comes looks like Shea Adams to me. Worked hard, done really well, been unlucky in the second half, doing really well. So Daniel Lundudo, I think that's how you pronounce it. As we see Kyle Walker now just receiving treatment from Sheffield, of course. Big Sheffield United fan, Kyle. Be disappointed to see his side anchored at the bottom of the Premier League at the moment with just 1 point to their credit. Although they put in a very good display against Manchester United at Bramall Lane a couple of days ago. See Nathan Aki about to enter the fray now. And we're not had any championship scores, so while we're just away from now, let's just check what's been happening elsewhere in the championship. So at the moment, as things stand, Norwich 2, Cardiff 0. That was an earlier game. Elsewhere, Birmingham 1, Middlesbrough 3, Brentford 3, Reading 1, Huddersfield 2, Watford 0, Luton and Bournemouth are still 0-0. Millwall Notts Forest 1-1, Rotherham Derby match postponed, of course. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Derby 0, Coventry 0, sorry. Stoke 1, Blackburn 0, Swansea 2, Barnsley 0, and Wycombe Wanderers 0, QPR 1. They're all the latest championship scores for you. And of course, in about less than 20 minutes from now, you'll be able to hear a full classified check of all the action from England, Scotland, Wales, and all Northern Ireland from the football around the country today, around the UK, as they usually do at 5 o'clock. But I don't have any pools news. I can just give you the score lines, and then you better check with your pools company if you are doing the pools today. I'll just run down through the scores just to remind you what's been going on. Full programme. 4 more Premier League games. We have one of them tomorrow, 7:15, the kick-off. We're on the air at 7 o'clock from the Midlands. West Brom against Villa. That's our main feature tomorrow night. That's our main event on the live commentaries. That'll be our 21st commentary. This is our 20th this season. And out of the 20th, one has been a 0-0. Winger's just scored a 4 for Middlesbrough, turning into a sorry day against his old club, I'm afraid, for Aitor Karanka. Birmingham City 1, Middlesbrough 4. Oh dear. And Aitor Karanka being put to the sword by his former employers. Wing with the 4th one, 8 minutes from time there. Yeah. And here we go again now. 83 minutes on the watch now, and Southampton now, can they force a leveller now, get a point, and try and try and save themselves a point. They've had a really good run. They've really done spectacularly well this season. The results have been good. Even if they lose today, they can go down with their heads held high. They've really played some really good stuff, some really nice high tempo passing as well. Been very impressed by it all. Here's Sterling now. Morris, sorry, for Manchester City, loses possession. And here comes Southampton looking to go again. And here comes Enlundulu. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's coming up with the syllables today. So Enlundulu. I don't know. I'm just going to pronounce it the way I see fit. I don't know. Why do they throw these names at me? Why can't we have Smith and Jones and Dave and Bob? At least those are easy to pronounce. Tello's been penalised. 3 kick to Manchester City. Bernardo. If you take the off, that's Bernard. But there you go. 5 minutes to go to full time, and Manchester City still winning. That 16th minute goal from Raheem Sterling, the difference between the sides. But it's been a very competitive game nonetheless, and that's surely going to be no foul there, because I think Gundogan was looking for that. That looked a definite. That wasn't a genuine attempt for me to win a 3 kick. He was looking for that. Gundogan rather. This is Sterling now on the left hand side, just slowing the game down as they should now. Cancelo plays it back to Rodri, and then the ball back now to Diaz. Stones as well, and look at this now. Walker has possession on the far side, finds Mahrez Robert, and he's offside, and the fourth official there, Ian Hussein, quite right, a flag in there for the offside flag. Both linesmen have had good games today. Ian Hussein on the far side, and especially Darren Can, I think, has had a magnificent match today, and the two linesmen have worked well. Shame the referee has again made it a little bit about him again, made some very controversial decisions, booked players that, quite frankly, for absolutely nothing. 4 minutes to go. Sergio Aguero sitting on the bench, will be waiting patiently for his chance. I'm not sure he'll get on at any point today now, but regardless of which, it's good to, from a City point of view, that they've got him ready to come on the bench. The Argentinian now into his early 30s now, but still a class act even at that age. And there we go. And so at the moment, Birmingham having a miserable day at home to Middlesbrough. It's going to be a bad day for Southampton, but not as bad as what they'll believe. They'll be disappointed, of course, if they go on to lose the game, because they've really contributed so much to the game, and maybe should have had a couple of goals on another day. But having said all that, City have done really well, defended Statley, and here they go again. Off they go with Bernardo. It's a throw-in. Just to remind you, you've got about 2.5 minutes to vote for your man in the match. If we don't get an outright winner, I'll have to vote. And it's a very hard choice, I've got to say. But if that is the case, I will have to decide one way or the other. As the ball is over on the far side. Trust Boris Johnson to have a press conference when I'm broadcasting. That is, oops, that's an absolute huge joke. I think Boris just has it in for me, I think, on the quiet. What's I said about him, the better, quite honestly, because I'm not his most popular fan at the moment, the PM. And Ian Hussein, Johnny on the spot there, alerting Mike Dean to give a free kick to Manchester City, and it was the correct decision. There's been some late drama at Adams Park there. Wickham have equalised. Hannes Mehmeti. These names, I don't believe it. Anyway, he scored in the 88th minute, and that could give a Bryce's point to Wickham Wanderers. Unsurprisingly, only one defender's gone up for the back for this one for City. I think they're just going to take it short into the corner here. Yeah, as I thought, De Bruyne does just that, but then loses possession, and Southampton now have to a little bit boxed in at the moment, and they get a throw in now. Chance for them to launch one are now. The last of the added minute, last minute. Bennett Vestergaard's been voted the television man of the match. I have to say he's had a very good game. Even in defeat, I think pretty good. But I've got to get my thinking cap on potentially now, because we've got a level vote between two rival players, and only one can win this award. So, especially if the vote is for two rival players, if it was for the same team, then you can share it. But not if it's from one each from the different outfits. So, I've got 15 seconds to make a bigger decision here. This commentary position isn't aggressive either. But we're coming up towards the 90th minute mark, and I'm now voting who I'm going to vote here, because we're going to give it to the goal scorer. We're going to give it to the goal scorer. Raheem Sterling is the JB man in the match. I've decided that it's going to be him. Meanwhile, it's Mahrez on the break. Shoots left-footed over the top. McCarthy wanting to get the ball straight away. There's no ball boys on display. They're all on sort of like tees, like sort of like rugby ball tees. We see Mahrez cutting outside there. Should have really tried to keep his shot down. Right. So just to remind you now, the man in the match has been decided by myself, because we had a draw in the vote. One for me is retired, and I've gone for Raheem Sterling of Manchester City. Vestergaard's the television man in the match. I went into first of 5 added minutes, for which we played 40 seconds of it. Here's Ward-Prowse, deep still inside his own half. Referee plays on. Tries to get the game blowing again. Bertrand now, far side, up against Kyle Walker. Can they find a late goal here, Southampton? But City, good blanket defence, and look at this now. City have got the break here, and now they've got a chance here to work it maybe into the corner. They might go here for Sterling. Sterling inside the area. Chance here for Bernardo to wrap it up, and it's gone right across, and then inexplicably at the back post, Riyad Mahrez has volleyed over the crossbar when it was easier to score. Southampton understandably short at the back here, having to pour men forward in search of an equaliser, and they almost had too much time, and Mahrez could have took an extra touch, tried to be clever, tried to volley it, and ended up almost with egg on his face. And Pep Guardiola hangs his head in his hands and can't believe he's sort of missed that opportunity. Bernardo's been penalised. We've played 2 of the 5 minutes almost. 3 minutes and 10 to go of stoppage time. Southampton haven't got much time to waste. It's now do or die for Southampton, but they performed magnificently today. Even if they do go down today into a 1-0 defeat, they've still done really well today, and they can't be faulted for their efforts today. I'm sure Ralph Fusenherta will look at certain decisions from Mike Dean as well that should have gone their way. Here's Walker-Peters. Controls it well. He's not stopped running all day. This is Ward-Prowse now for Southampton. Can they find an equaliser? Walcott wanting on that near side. But the ball's back now with Bednarek, and now Vestergaard into Romeo. And Sterling's won it anyway, Yorkshire football. Just make sure you're there on the 90th minute, mate. But Sterling has won the man of the match anyway. 2 votes to 1 as it turns out. But nice to have you with us, Yorkshire football. I hope you're enjoying our commentary. We've got plenty more where that comes from tomorrow. Our final match before Christmas Day. It was the match before Christmas. Well, Billy has a Midlands derby match as well, and a good one too, as West Bromwich Albion take on Aston Villa at the Hawthorns. 7 o'clock our programme starts with a 7:15 kick-off from the Hawthorns. So be sure to tune in for that. Anyway, here back with Manchester City, we've got Kevin De Bruyne now, just almost at jogging pace, running towards the corner. There's about 90 seconds just over to go of stoppage time. Hits it off Ward-Prowse, and it will be a corner kick to Manchester City on their left-hand side, the near side, as we look here at St Mary's. Hopefully be there, mate. Danny, well, thank you for being there. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, Danny, I hope you have anyway, but just in case you haven't, please subscribe. And also subscribe to Chris Whiteman's channel, CW, and also Trevor Sports as well. And of course, we'll give you links for them as well if Russ is about. I'm sure Russ will find the links for you. Stay with us at the end of the game. We'll get some reaction, and we'll also get some reaction to the late finish here, and also we'll have the full classified results coming live to you at 5 o'clock on the dot. Last minute now, can Southampton rally and try and snatch a point? Right, it's not been a classic performance for Manchester City, nothing too vintage from them, but sometimes when you're down in 9th place and you're needing points, sometimes a scrappy 1-0 win will do. Pep won't be obviously happy with the performance, the perfectionist he is, but it looks as if City have done just about enough to get the job done. But Southampton, no disgrace in this, to be fair. They might go down today, but I'll tell you what, they put on a good show today, and they've nothing to be too upset or disgraced about. And here comes De Bruyne again into Sterling. Sterling now edge of the area. Can they wrap it up with a second goal? It'd be harsh on Southampton if they did. And Sterling goes out to De Bruyne, and that should be that. He kicks the ball into touch, and there goes the full-time whistle. Referee bolts to the end, and a nice touch there. Fist bumps all round from both Ralph Hasenhüttl and Pep Guardiola. Final whistle then. Manchester City winning it by a 1-0 then. Raheem Sterling with the goal, separating the two sides. Wasn't a classic performance from Manchester City by any means, but that was purely down to the commitment and endeavour of Southampton, who really gave them a real fright and had several big opportunities to try and win the game here, as we're now plunged into darkness at St Mary's. The floodlights are firmly on, but good reception from the Southampton fans to their team. They really have done well. Thank you, Yorkshire, and don't forget to hit the notifications on every channel as well. That would be fantastic as well if you could do that, Danny, as well. Fantastic, mate. Well, nice to have you all with us. Let me just point you in the direction of what we've got coming up. So on JB Sports we got the match. Well, I'm reworking the old ITV programme. We've got Burnley Chelsea virtually. That's for FIFA 21 video. That's dropping at 1:30 on the Premier. And then later on we've got real live football from the Premier League. Aston Villa at West Bromwich Albion. So we'll be at the Hawthorns at 7 o'clock, 7:15 kickoff again with me. And then we've got Scotch Sport at 10 o'clock where we focus on PES 20, and that's Scottish football. And then on other channels at 9:15, after we're finished at the Hawthorns, we've got the Raven West series with Chris Whiteman, and of course we've got also as well on Christmas Day, Trevor's match of the day, where I'm going to be doing virtual match of the day, where I'll be doing Arsenal Chelsea, and Trevor will be doing Leeds against Burnley, because he won't trust me and Russ to do it. So, no, he's only doing that in jest. No, it's good that he's doing that, to be fair. Now I've got the Arsenal match, and honestly, it's an episode you won't want to miss. But I also must stress that it will not be a premiere. It will be just a normal upload of video on that day, just because it will be on Christmas Day. Right, let's have a look at the standings then at the Premier League. Southampton, in fact, have dropped to 4th on Leicester have gone third without kicking a ball, because Southampton have dropped a goal. So they've got a +6 goal difference and +7. City have moved up as well. I didn't know what position they moved up at the moment, but we'll find out when we go through the tables in just a second, because we're going to be switching our attentions to the full classified in about a couple of minutes' time. So what we're going to do then, folks, is take a couple of minutes break. And then we'll go straight to the full classified check. So 2 minutes from now we'll have the full classified check. Stay with us. Welcome back to St Mary's, as we have just witnessed. Thank you, New Caton. Thank you. Hope to join you tomorrow for West Brom against Aston Villa. 7:15, remember, on JB Sports. You've just listened to the game between Manchester City and West Brom and Southampton. Southampton losing it here at St Mary's by a goal to nil. Ball time has just gone at Huddersfield. That's 2-0. Capoue on goal, and Campbell. He's first goal in 5 games. Deciding matters there at the John Smiths Stadium. Stoke have won against Blackburn. Bradford have got a crucial 3 points. They're struggling at the bottom. Just sacked Stuart McCall as well. They've beaten Cambridge by a goal to nil. Partick Thistle 0, Peterhead 1 in Scottish 1. And in League 2, Harrogate 0, Salford 1. Good win there for Salford as well. Full-time whistle's gone at the Brentford Community Stadium. That's the new name for the new stadium. And it's finished Brentford 3, Reading 1. Jensen and Morepo on Jensen 11, Morepo on 23 and 29 minutes. Aluko responding with more than a consolation goal. Leighton Orient 1, Crawley 2. That's a full-time result. Millwall 1, Nottingham Forest 1. That's also a result. Luton Borough finished goalless, and Forest Green have beaten Carlisle. A good win there for Forest Green Rovers as well. So a good result there. A good result there for Luton there. Bournemouth are a very good side. Been going well in the Championship this season. Any results? So earlier today, Palace 0, Liverpool 7. And it's finished it also at Hillsborough, where Sheffield Wednesday have beaten Coventry by a goal to 0. It's also finished at Brentford, as we can see. St Mirren have just beaten St Johnstone 3-2 in the SPL. So that's a good result there for St Mirren. Elgin have beaten Stenhousemuir by 2 goals to 0 in the league, in Scotland's League 2, in Scottish League 2. So that's a very good result. Northampton Lincoln is still playing, by the way. Atkinson have drawn 0-0 with Blackpool. Nick Powell winning the day for Stoke. And making thousands and thousands, making hundreds of thousands of clarets very happy indeed. Nick Powell's goal on 6 minutes, deciding the matters there against Blackburn Rovers. Thanks, Russ. We'll still stay with every. We'll still go for the classifieds and then try and get a little bit of reaction from Manchester City if we can before the programme's out. Mansfield 1, Southend 1, Millwall 1, Nottingham Forest 1. That's finished now at the Den. Good point there from Nottingham Forest. They needed that. They needed the result today. A draw would have been. Draw was sufficient. Just waiting for all the results to go through. But the big story really: Manchester City and Liverpool back to winning ways. Everton, Arsenal kick off in around about just over half an hour's time at Goodison Park. The big team news from there is no Aubameyang because of a thigh strain. It's also they're still playing at Northampton, where Lincoln have been very good. Goals from Scully on 2 minutes, Hopper on 42 minutes, and Johnson 83 minutes. Nice easy names to pronounce. Now why can't we have a few of those in the Premier League? Scully, Hopper and Johnson. Anyway, they've won the game and it's now 4-0 now to Lincoln. They've scored a 4th one. It's finished at Rodney Parade as well. Newport 2, Oldham 4. What a good result that is for Oldham. They're really motoring at the moment. They've had a few really good results, Oldham, and are really starting to motor well up that League 2 table. And a club like Oldham, who Premier League founder members going back 26, 27 years ago, to see them languishing in League 2 is a travesty to see from a neutral's point of view, because they were a really good side in those days that used to reach Wembley every other year and things like that. So it's nice to see that. Mansfield 1, Southend 1. We've had a full time at Easter Road. Burnian 1. Dundee United 1, McGuinness with the goal on 13, and Bolton equalising and minute into the stoppage time. So sadly there it's a 2 points drop there, you'd have to say, there for Hibernian. I can confirm the 4th Lincoln goal scorer was Brennan Johnson in the 8th minute of stoppage time at the end. So there you go, and I think that's just about it for all the ball times. I think are now about in. And we're now all set to go for the full classified check in just a second or two. And it's been a great day all round for football. Liverpool winning, Manchester City winning. Well, now It's time to get the full classified check. Starting with the Premier League. Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 7. Everton against Arsenal's an even kick-off. So too is Newcastle against Fulham. And Southampton 0, Manchester City 1. The Sky Bet Championship now. Birmingham City 1, Middlesbrough 4. Brentford 3, Reading 1. Huddersfield 2, Watford 0. Luton Town 0, Bournemouth 0. Millwall 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Norwich City 2, Cardiff 0. Rotherham United against Derby, that's match postponed. Sheffield Wednesday 1, Coventry 0. Stoke 1, Blackburn 0. Swansea 2, Barnsley 0. And Wycombe Wanderers 1, QPR 1. League 1, Accrington Stanley 0, Blackpool 0. Wimbledon 1, Crewe Alexandra 2. Bristol Rovers against Oxford, that's match postponed. Burton Albion 1, Doncaster Rovers 3. Fleetwood 1, Wigan 1. Northampton 0, Lincoln City 4. Peterborough against Ipswich, that's a match postponed again. Plymouth 1, MK Dons 0. Rochdale 1, Gillingham 4. Shrewsbury against Sunderland, again match postponed. And Swindon Town 2, Charlton Athletic 2. League 2, Barrow 3, Cheltenham 0. Bolton 0, Tranmere Rovers 3. Bradford City 1, Cambridge 0. Colchester 1, Morecambe 2. Forest Green Rovers 1, Carlisle 0. Grimsby 1, Scunthorpe 0. Harrogate Town 0, Salford City 1. Leyton Orient 1, Crawley 2. Mansfield 1, Southend 1. Newport County 2, Oldham 4. Stevenage against Exeter City, match postponed. And finally, Walsall 4, Port Vale 3. Scottish Premiership, Hibernian 1, Dundee United 1. Rangers 3, Motherwell 1. Ross County 0, Hamilton Academicals 2. And St Mirren 3, St Johnstone 2. Scottish Championship now, Anlower 2, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1. Arbroath 2, Ayr United 1. Dundee 3, Dunfermline 3. And Morton 2, Greenock Morton 2, Queen of the South 0. Scottish League 1, Cove Rangers 2, Clyde 3. East Fife 2, Forfar 0. Montrose 4, Dumbarton 0. And Partick Thistle 0, Peterhead 1. League 2, Annan Athletic 1, Queen's Park 2. Cowden Beef 2, Brecon City 0. Edinburgh City 2, Stirling Albion 3. Elgin City 2, Stenhousemuir 0. And Stranraer 4, Albion Rovers 0. JD Welsh Premier, Barry Town 4, Kevin Druids 1. Connersky Nomads 3, Cardiff MU 1. Flint Town against Aberystwyth is still a late result, 0-0 the score. And the New Sense 2, Penny Bont 1. And finally the Danske Bank Premiership, Irish Premiership, Ballymena 1, Glentoran 1. Cliftonville against Coleraine, evening kick-off. Linfield 4, Dungannon Swifts 0. Portadown against Larne, match postponed. And finally Warren Point 1, Glenarvan 2. So let's see what that does to the Premier League table. Liverpool have a 5-point gap over Tottenham in second place. Southampton dropped to 4th. Manchester City up to 4th, a point behind Southampton now, with that big win at St Mary's here today. Everton kick off in 6th place against Arsenal, and Wolves complete the top 10. Arsenal 5 points off relegation at the moment. They really are struggling. Burnley 1 point above Fulham. West Brom and Sheffield United the bottom 3. Norwich stretched their lead to 5 points from Bournemouth in second place, 2 points down above Swansea. And then Brentford, Watford and Middlesbrough completing the playoff picture. Stoke, Reading, Bristol City, Cardiff City all on the rails. At the wrong end of the table, Sheffield Wednesday have now moved up above Wycombe Wanderers. They're bottom. Derby County are out still. Derby and Rotherham didn't play today because of COVID-19. And Birmingham, Coventry, QPR, Nottingham Forest will certainly be looking over their shoulders at the moment. Millwall dropping to 16th. League One, Portsmouth and Lincoln are joint top. 1 point behind is Hull in third place. Then Doncaster Rovers, Peterborough and Ipswich. Charlton and Accrington still on the rails there for the potential playoff places. Sunderland in 11th. At the bottom end of the table, Burton still bottom. Wigan, Swindon, Shrewsbury in the bottom four. Northampton, Rochdale, Bristol Rovers and Oxford looking over their shoulders. Newport County lost today against Oldham, so their lead is cut to 1 point. Forest Green is second and Carlisle third. Cheltenham, Morecambe, Exeter and Salford up in the playoff places. And then Walsall and Cambridge there, but a good win there for Oldham. That moves them well up the table. Stevenage and Southend are struggling, and a good 3 points there for Bradford City moves them 5 points, 3 points above safety. At the top, what a lead for Rangers now. Although Celtic have got 3 games in hand, they're now 16 points clear at the top. Our Rangers, Stephen Gerrard's men, really doing well. Celtic and Burnley in second and third, 34 and 33 points respectively. Hamilton Accies with a huge win there that takes them into 11th place. Ross County 4 points adrift now at the bottom of the Premier League in Scotland. So lots to talk about then for the remaining sort of 5 minutes of the programme. We're going to try and get a little bit of reaction, but the big news really was we don't need to worry about Liverpool. We're going to concentrate on what happened at St Mary's, which is just obviously just finished now. And of course, what a performance it has been. We're going to try and get an interview with Pep Guardiola if we can in just a second or two. If we can get an interview with Pep, we'll endeavour to do so. In fact, we can in a moment. Let's hear what he's got to say in just a second or two. So let's go and hear what Pep Guardiola's got to say now. He's talking to Amazon Prime's Gabriel Clark.
Definitely. Search for how impressed I was during the game in Southampton. That is the reason why is where they are. So the quality they build up, the 4 guys in the middle with the 2 central defenders, 2 holding midfielders. They put a lot of players fast, high pressing. So yeah, they play really good. But we come from a little bit uncomfortable situation, but a good result, good points. We don't have our momentum to score goals. We got the second half, we create 3 or 4 or 5, 1 against 1, you have to score. This is not our momentum, we have to accept it. But you have to survive now, being solid and put our desire, our heart, and do the rest.
You talked about obviously having lower confidence. What might this win do for that confidence? There was certainly a real sense of celebration among the players at the end.
Of course, it's so important. So they suffer too in these situations, and we accept that we are not. Our momentum in front of the goal is not good. So, and we faced today with a team. They had his momentum in terms of playing football and points. And it's a good result to climb a little bit in the table, but now Carabao Cup and Newcastle is coming, and but a start from here is good.
Yeah, the only goal of the game, Ederson's long pass, if you like, is that something you talked about with the players? Because it seemed to come from nowhere.
Football belongs to them. The decisions, I'm not in the bench said now we walkie-talkie and said Eddie, put long ball and score a goal. So that belongs to them, absolutely.
And Raheem Sterling's finish and the move itself, sum it up.
Yeah, it was good finishing. Unfortunately, we could not finish the second half, the chances that we had.
Defensively though, how pleased are you with that side of your game? John Stone's back and how he's playing along with Diaz.
All 4. Kyle was amazing, especially during all the game, before the game, how commit. Joao as well. So when the 2 guys, John and Ruben, they are playing the last games incredible well. So good. And Rodri was amazing too. His presence, his personality, and everyone. But it was a tough game, so demanding. And now, we see a recover for the next games.
You've seen Liverpool have won 7-0 away, but it looks like they're getting back to their title form, potentially. How close are you to your title form?
We're away.
A long way away.
Look the table.
8 points, but with a game in hand.
Okay, but it's a lot of points, so... And they're still with his momentum in terms of goals. So score 0-7, Crystal Palace away. Like I saw a game against Tottenham, how good they play means how good. It's not doubts about how good at Liverpool they are. But I said to the guys, to forget about it, to think about it in high things. So we are in 9 in the table. When you are in the table, let's try to next week be in the 8th in the table or 7 in the table.
Well, now you're 5th.
Well, tomorrow plays, and after go to qualify for Europa League, and after go to the Champions League, and if the situation happen. So we cannot be focused too much because we drop points, especially the last one. But football is like last season we came here, we played incredible well. I don't know how many shots on target, and we lost. And today play well, but not like season, and we won. So sometimes happen.
And finally, listening to fans being in the stadium, albeit they weren't your own fans, what was that like?
It's better. Honestly, it's much better. But everyone's agree with this. You know that some clubs are lucky to play with the fans, some others don't. But I would say that the priority is not this. The priority is vaccine and stay safe, because all around the world is killing every day 400, 300 people is too much. So we have to be careful in the decisions. Everyone wants fans, everyone wants the normality, but first still, and everywhere, not just here in UK, there is a lot too. So that's why social distance, masks.
I think we'll cut that off at the moment. I'm going to cut that interview short because it was going on bordering on a political statement. Whether you agree with Pep or whether you don't, what I will say is that it was a great performance, and that was a City above, or right behind Southampton. They were a point ahead of them still. Leicester actually move up to third as a result of Southampton conceding that only goal today. So that will be a little bit disappointing, but it will be helpful to Leicester City, of course, who play tomorrow, and after that. But I also have to say, well done to Southampton. They really gave a good account of themselves, and they really did really well. Right, well, anyway, that's it from us for today. I hope you've enjoyed the programme, and don't forget to join us again at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening for a more live commentary. Of course, we've got the match in Scott Sport as well, streaming as well in between. And of course, we'll have Chris Whiteman on his channel tomorrow with the Raven West. That comes up after our live broadcast of West Brom against Aston Villa. 7 o'clock start. We go 7:15 kick-off at the Hawthorns, and then on Christmas Day, don't forget Trevor's match of the day, of course, virtual match of the day, PES 2020, with myself and himself commentating. It will not be a premiere. It will be just a normal upload, and then you can watch it whenever you want, and you get 5 minutes away from your family or whatever. But Christmas should be all about families, hence why we're not premiering. Trevor's not premiering it, and quite rightly so. But anyway, thank you very much for listening. Hope to join you tomorrow and what we're building as the match before Christmas, our final match before Christmas, tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock, 7:15 kick-off if you need reminding. It's West Bromwich Albion against Aston Villa in the Premier League. A proper Midlands derby coming your way tomorrow. Live commentary here on JB Sports. I hope you enjoyed this one today. Manchester City, not a pretty performance, but they got the job done, and Raheem Sterling scoring a crucial goal in the 16th minute that send Manchester City a point behind 4th place into 5th. Hope you've enjoyed today, and we'll join you and hope to see you all tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. Until then, from me, JB, have a smashing Saturday, and I'll see you all tomorrow evening. Until then, take care. Goodbye. Ta-ra.